Hi friends, anti-vegan. May all be vegan, of course, because that is what most important is today on the planet. Yeah, most of the suffering that is made today is made by humans to the animals. So they suffer most, and even more than anything we know from history. Yeah, no exceptions made. This is huge. If we accept they feel like we do, like humans, there is no question. They suffer hugely, like never before anything happened in this suffering on this planet. What we know of. So, just the sheer numbers of individuals are, I mean, you cannot compare different kinds of suffering, that makes no sense. But the amount of individuals, that makes a big difference. Yeah? And so, this is what we have to attack first. Our other problems, as important as they might be, logically, just by the sheer logical thinking, would be affected mostly from this first important problem. So, pursuit of happiness for all, yeah, that would begin to make sense only, really make sense, a chance when the animals are free. Yeah. It's simple logic. As soon as you accept they have consciousness, individual consciousness especially, that is important, then they have these feelings we social life, love and care and everything, then you are in the loop and you can't escape it anymore. There's no argument, yeah? And they're proving more and more how conscious animals actually are, and we understand more and more. It's difficult to understand what consciousness is, but they found a way to make really sure, so you cannot debate that anymore. These animals have consciousness. Of course, there are the limits of our modern science. Modern science is limited by itself, it's not holistic. So you have some problems there, intrinsic, and so the amount of species included in this consciousness theory, scientifically proven today, is limited. Yeah? Not all animals are accepted by the top researchers as having consciousness because they cannot prove it, yeah? And they don't know exactly what it is about. So that is limited. So from that angle, from a pure scientific perspective, modern science standards, it will not be possible, for example, to prove have insects, for example, consciousness. Yeah, but we have also other aspects that are more important than the consciousness. We have compassion. Yeah, the compassion is higher than the reason. Yeah, as intuition is higher than understanding. Intuition is the highest capacity of our intellect. Yeah, this is logic, pure logic, very simple to understand. And in the Western culture, we have no systematic approach to learn intuitive, to be intuitive. We need intuition, everybody agrees. Yeah, yesterday I talked with a friend who's a logician, who's a mathematician, who is a really professional, a businessman, very reasonable, and of course, he said, of course we all need intuition everywhere, but then I explained to him, and he had to laugh, he had to understand, he had to admit it, that we have no systematic approach to intuition. We have all the systematic approach to reason. Yeah? So reason is that what rules the Western world. That's what they believe. Yeah? All rely on reasoning, but in reality, everybody would ask their feelings first. They follow their heart. And that's the intuition, basically. But they have no systematic approach. It's a reason, it's a very small part of this only. But we overestimate that. We cannot rely in veganism, in a liberation of the humans, for example, cannot rely on our reason only. That's only understanding. Knowledge is only a part of it. Reason is only the way, the systematic approach to knowledge. Intuition is the source of all knowledge. The reason and science is only a systematic approach for everyone. So it's very important for democracy to have a systematic, scientific approach, because then everybody can understand it. Intuition, as such, as we know it, is only for some few enlightened beings, maybe. But we all have the right in a democracy, so we all have to understand. That's why science is important. But we have to understand at the same time it's limited. And good science always explains where the limits are. In nutritional science, we now can say, since 2014 or so it began, yes, the healthiest diet is of course vegan. We know that now. There's no no study, no any single case that is reported where animal food was necessary for health reasons. And as soon as that is a very thin, only a flat proof, but it is consistent and it is enough. And only if you prove the opposite, then you can say no, vegan is the healthiest diet is not vegan. But that has not happened so far. So we have to say now the vegan diet is the healthiest one, but understanding that health from a scientific standpoint and that we have to take in democracy is a very small only. And the real reason for veganism, of course, is compassion. Can never be science. Compassion. Our love, that is the highest capacity we have. And that all would agree, I guess, in the end. Mostly, I guess, most would. So, yeah, now I make a very compassionate breakfast. I hope I didn't talk too long for you, but it is a very simple one, very easy, yeah. And that is, to me, that is important. I have two main ingredients here for the breakfast. I just felt like eating that. A beautiful apple. I have some nice apples here. They are right in season, you see. I just cut up some apples in small pieces, very easy, and put some lemon juice on top. Of course, they're not getting brown. You don't need the lemon juice here. Just when they sit on the counter for a while, it helps to have lemon juice to help. And half cup or so of Buckwheaties. These are also wonderful for breakfast. They are crunchy. You see, they have sprouted and dried in the dehydrator after sprouting. How to make that all? You can watch it in the video. It's not very simple. It takes very fast. The buckwheats you can buy in the shop, they sprout very quick, and the smallest sprouts are enough. Then the energy is enhanced, the nutrients enhanced, and you dry them back. They are so crunchy, and if you put some liquid on them and wet for a while, then they get bigger again, and they're very crunchy and fresh at the same time. So then they're almost better than from the field. I have to try this. Buckwheaties are amazing. I love them. I always have some homemade buckwheaties at home to make a quick breakfast anytime. So just put apples together with buckwheaties, as I do here in this bowl. Very simple, you know, apples, very high in water, high in fiber, sweet and sour, tasty, yummy, vitamins, and then here more the dense nutrients, the protein, the fat in here a little bit, yeah, that goes over here, the minerals, this part here. So I have both here, very simple ingredients, very basic, but of course for breakfast it's super like a granola, a very simple granola. And now I will make it a little bit more delicious. I have some refinement. I need some liquid for that, some cream, and I have a wonderful macadamia banana cream. I have just a handful of macadamia nuts. One of my favorite nuts here. They are wonderful, you see. They're high in fat. That's very cool. But you can eat, honestly, another scientific experience, a long-time study, you can eat as many nuts as you want, as long as they are fresh, like these, yeah, just raw nuts, and you cannot gain weight. As many as you want, no problem. Nuts are very, very nice snacks, and for every time they're a little bit more expensive, of course, so that is a limiting quality, the price, yeah, and how much water you have to put in. And here I have just some bananas here, fruit. I just cut up 2 bananas in slices to make the creamy dressing. Like a kind of banana milk, you know. You blend bananas and they get liquid, you put some nuts or seeds in it, and they get more silken, a nice creaminess from the extra fat from the nuts in this case, yeah. And this is a wonderful texture, and you can use it as a smoothie base, or for example as a dressing for granola like this. And today I have a special a spice I want to show you. From spices I can tell you they belong to the healthiest foods we have at all. There is a science here that are spices and herbs. Yeah? Herbs and spices are the healthiest. I have just a half a teaspoon from cardamom, ground cardamom. It's a very strong spice. From India, I guess they have it. Usually in many kinds of food, they are wonderful. A little bit like pepper in this direction. Very strong, but not that hot. Yeah. But it's very calming for the stomach, as opposed to pepper. It can be a little difficult for the stomach because the heat, yeah. But cardamom is similar without the heat, yeah. But it is very calming for the stomach and for the intestines. You can drink it together in coffee, give a little nice flavor to coffee or to black tea, yeah, to make it very becoming and mild for the intestine. They're Indian, they love to do these kind of things. They are the master of spices. We have our spices from India. Did you know that? In the medieval times, Venice, one of the first big cities in Europe, free cities, they had ships, they went to India, they got the spices and they got rich. The richest city in a certain time in the medieval times was Venice, North Italy, because of the spices, yeah, from the east. Amazing, yeah, that we didn't know. Before that, there was a lot of, they were very expensive, and today's spices, everybody can afford it. But in former times, they were super expensive at the base of the wealth of Europe. So, yeah, who would have known? And they knew why. They are so precious. I have just some water to begin with, a cup or so. I see I may need some more later. Let's see, blender dance. Creamy image, this wonderful color, isn't that beautiful beyond? As a chef, maybe I really like this kind of image. And the texture, I really like the texture. Just a cup of water, that is enough. I don't need more, but it's so creamy. It's like a little bit, almost like foamy. Oh, it's amazing. I like this texture. Wonderful banana milk. I could drink this like that, I guess, but now I have to taste it because of the cardamom, the very special spice. Let's see what it tastes like. Wonderful, really nice. I'll show you right away when I pour it into my muesli, my granola. It's really delicious. I will definitely make more with macadamias. I got a big batch of macadamias right now. Have been delivered. I always buy my nuts in larger amounts. I don't eat that many nuts. I sometimes snack, but I have so many other things to eat. But I have always some at home. I make some cheese sometimes, some plant milks, or these creams, these dressings, yeah, puddings. So many ways to use nuts, or for cakes, also nice fillings. So nuts are very nice, and but as I said, a little bit more expensive, so I don't eat that many. But macadamia nuts especially, they have this nice, there's more firmness than cashews, and they're easy to blend, yeah, they are light, and they have a special flavor. It goes a little bit too savory. Just says jokingly, serious flavor. When you describe flavors, you can use any kind of languages. Kids would love that, yeah. But you can be a little bit more free using somehow unexpected wordings for flavors, because that also inspires the fantasy, the intuition, if you have these words. And for flavors, I guess it would be nice to have a little bit more description of that, because we all know flavors, but we all don't really know how to describe them. Yeah, they're very individual experiences. But there is more to it. There's a whole science could be to it, because flavors are also nutrients. Yeah. So, but that's now enough for today. I have this one more breakfast show you again. Yeah. Let's sum up what I said today in this video. Yeah. Breakfast will keep for a while, and maybe 3 big findings from science just in the next last 15 years or so because of veganism. We know now, I would say veganism inspired this big wave, inspired more research, because people want to know now, they have money put in there, in the research, it's expensive, in the health, the business, big business. So the major findings I found today, I referred today to was vegan. The healthiest diet is vegan. First thing, but we have to understand that that health is maybe the weakest reason really for veganism. It is an important reason, but the others are less disputed, yeah, more stable, like the planet, saving the planet, for example. Just logically by science, a very simple science says that we have to be vegan to save the planet, otherwise we will produce too much carbon emissions and so on. So that is a very simple argument, very compelling, and the strongest argument, of course, is the compassion for other beings like us. Yeah? And that is the animal saving. So these two arguments are really strong. The third one is very important for this culture because health is crucial for the business. But it is as such a very weak argument. It could fall any time. As soon as somebody finds a way to say, okay, we need meat to eat to survive. And when that happens, the argument is failed, yeah, for vegan health. It hasn't happened so far, and I think it won't. Yeah, but so that's the first thing about the vegan and the health. And the second thing is that you can eat as many nuts as you want without gaining weight. That's a very interesting finding and very helpful to many people, to many vegans who try to live with plants only and don't know what to snack, and so they're concerned for their health and think, oh, fat may be unhealthy. No, nuts are an exception, very exceptional. So third point is you can eat as many fruit as you want. I don't know if I mentioned that today, but this is a fruit breakfast, and mainly some nuts and seeds in there, so make it complete. Everything we eat, fruit, nuts and seeds. Yeah, the seeds have also sprouts, that's also vegetable almost. So we are pretty much round today. And the third thing I want to make sure today gets over that you can eat as many fruits as you want without any health detriments. So no amount of food is too much. Another scientific big finding. And for that I say bye today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. If so, thumbs up, like my video, subscribe, and be vegan on YouTube. Have another recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter.